Welcome to Personality Profile. I totally look forward to Thursday evenings, and I know you do as well. I know a lot of people do look forward to our conversations here on Personality Profile on Joy 99.7 FM. I am Lexis Bale, and within the next hour, you would actually hear from an amazing personality. Yeah, so thank you so much for choosing this dial. Let me let you in, though. We are live on Facebook, so you can actually log on to Facebook on your phone or on your computer and check out the video. Actually, it's a video, so you can actually see me and my guest have a conversation here on Personality Profile. She's a very special woman, I gotta be honest with you, and you'd enjoy this one. So thanks a lot for choosing this dial, and settle down and let's have a convo. Now, I'll tell you what, on a very calm Sunday somewhere very close to the Chateau de Fontainebleau, where the kings of France will wine and dine regularly, the director of a record company and a teacher had a baby girl. Yeah, she was destined to be a royal. I mean, over 50 years later, this baby girl will travel 5,899 kilometers to be installed as the development queen in a town in the 10th district of the Bono region of Ghana. Her school name, Nana Bene III. The people of Bonobutu traditional area of the Upper East region will also enskin her as the development queen mother, Na Amatinga Apoka. Yeah. So how did she make her way there? I mean, how did she get there? I tell you what, she had a simple task of representing France in Ghana. But you know what? She saw beyond diplomatic representation. Yeah. She saw an opportunity to merge cultures, share the values of both states that were beautiful and impactful. In fact, she has rewritten the script of diplomacy. Yeah, she's endeared and adored by almost everyone who encounters her, and even those who observe from afar. She's actually the most followed diplomat in Ghana on Instagram, and you can't miss her impact in the showbiz industry. Her presence in Ghana felt in a very unique way, and you would think, wow, how did she do this? It will interest you to know that her first diplomatic appointment came in September 2018 when she became the ambassador of France to Ghana. Yeah, I'm here with the host of Touch of France, a double award TV show, award-winning TV show promoting France and France in Ghana, the Diplomat of the Year 2021. She's an actress as well, appeared in her Ghanaian movie Fire and Ice. Yep, got nominations at the Ghana Movie Awards. Look, this is an unreal script, but believe it, it is real. She has served as the head of the European and International Unit at the French Ministry of Transport. She represented France in multilateral organizations like the IMO, of course, the International Maritime Organization, the EU, and practiced technical diplomacy. She's a former national gymnast and semi-professional dancer. I don't know what that is, but semi-professional dancer. Interesting one. She speaks French, English, German, Dutch, reads Russian, and is learning Chi. Yeah. She's the Knight of the French National Order of Merit and of the Legion of Honor, the ambassador of France to Ghana, Anne Sophie Ave. Welcome, Akosia.
Good evening. Thank you very much for having me.
How are you?
I'm fine. Well, you said it all, so thank you very much. It was a very interesting show. You said everything.
So we're done, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. Obviously.
No, we're not.
What else can I say?
There's a lot more to you. I'm so elated to have you.
Thank you.
How have you been?
Well, busy. I think that's what I answer usually. I've been quite busy.
Yeah.
But it's a blessing to be here. It's a blessing to do whatever I'm lucky enough to be doing. So it's just great. You know, getting up in the morning, even if I have a very packed schedule, I know that there's going to be something exciting. So.
Look, if you're just joining in, let me let you know that she's actually one of the biggest celebrities now. She got to Joy FM, and some guys on the street are like, "Oh, hey, how did that feel?"
It feels weird. It feels really weird.
When you're just out of your car and some folks come over and you're like, "Oh, hey."
It happens a lot, and usually I'm like, but how do they know me?
Yeah.
It feels weird, yeah, because that's not what you expect and what you are looking for when you are an ambassador. You're
Yeah.
looking, of course, at creating an impact, running cooperation projects, doing diplomacy, and diplomatically, I really had quite a bit on my plate because. When I arrived, Ghana was presented to me as a very peaceful country, democratic, and people were telling me, "Oh, it's embassy for beginners. You're going to have a very quiet time." And then the president became chair of ECOWAS, and 1 month after that, there was a coup in Mali, and then later on there was a coup in Guinea, and then there was a coup in Burkina. So all countries where we are deeply involved and committed. So of course that gives us a lot of interactions and comparing notes and sharing information with the presidency and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So I said that was already a lot of our plate. So then Ghana was elected a non-permanent member of the UN Security Council. That was last summer, and they entered the UN Security Council in January 2022, and in February 2022 we had Ukraine.
Yeah.
So, and France is also a permanent member as well. So we have common interest in many issues diplomatically. So there's a lot of behind the scenes work, which is what normally diplomats do. And on top of that, there's of course the cooperation projects that we're pushing, and that and all the things I've willingly decided to get involved into.
So when you came in 2018, and not long after all the coups were happening in these African countries, what did you think? I mean, and this is not from the diplomatic level. Personally, did you think, oh no, did I make a wrong move?
Well, I was not ambassador in those countries, so I don't know, and I don't think it depends on the ambassador really. I think the situation is very worrying because there is it's like what we thought that was now almost for granted, and that was democracy, human rights, state of law, and we have seen for a while, the past years, these countries becoming more stable, and the main threat was terrorism. And then suddenly we see that we are back to those old years where there were coups over coups over coups. It looks like old news for Ghana, because you've been really installing democracy and stability for like 30-40 years, and we didn't expect, the world didn't expect the return of instability in these countries, and it's each of them have a different reason why they got there, but basically there are many components to that: poverty, the state not being everywhere on the territory, and people feeling abandoned. The impact of terrorism, of course, that destabilizes, and that's the case in Mali and Burkina. It's less the case in Guinea, and some sort of questioning of the legitimacy of the leaders when, up to a point, some militaries decide to destool.
Luckily for you and Ghana, that wasn't the case.
Not under my watch.
I like the sound of that. Anyway, so I was excited about this conversation also because in just a few months you will be done with your service to Ghana.
Yes.
And how does that make you feel?
Awful.
Oh,
absolutely
dear.
Awful. It's terrible, and I don't want to think of it. You see, I don't know where I'm going, and I don't know who's coming next. So it's not real.
If you had your own way, would you stay longer?
Oh, I would stay forever. I would stay forever. But it's not. It doesn't sound real. So, and I've got so much on my plate at the moment. I'm still working, and I still have so many projects that I'm pushing, and working like 24/7. That it doesn't leave me time to think that I'm gonna leave, and I don't want to think of it because I would probably feel terrible. So I will handle it like I usually do, on the rush, last minute, packing and forgetting half of my stuff probably.
But when that time comes, what will you miss?
I think I miss the people. I miss this atmosphere, this ambience, the music, the enthusiasm, the kindness of the people, the smile, the free smile of the people, um, and this impression of complete freedom, and peace that you have here. And unless you've traveled around the world, you cannot appreciate how precious it is and
Mm-hmm.
how quite unique it is. When you're going freely on the streets,
Yeah.
and no one bothers you, and globally, economically, socially, you've got this impression that everything is possible, that
Yeah.
it's the beginning of something. Yes, there are challenges, and because of social media and because of everything going quicker and quicker, people always think that it's not going fast enough and things are not changing fast enough. But this country is changing really, really fast and
Mm.
much faster than many elsewhere in the world. And I found this impression that I had when I was growing up in Belgium, where
Mm.
we were building Europe, and there was a huge hope, and we had this feeling that we were creating something, and
Yeah.
that we
Yeah.
were moving forward. And that's the impression I have here, and that's
What
that's
what
what I'm going to miss.
what won't you miss?
Mosquitoes? Mosquitoes, I think.
Have you
That's
had a bout of malaria already?
not at all, not yet. So don't bring me bad luck. I haven't. No, not yet. I'm not really looking forward to any malaria. I don't feel like, I don't feel incomplete because I didn't tick the box of malaria really. So
You've been lucky, haven't you? Yeah,
I
they've been very friendly to you.
well, maybe I
Yeah.
selected the mosquitoes, and
Oh,
I
dear.
got the
There
non-malaria
you
ones.
go.
I don't know. I attracted the non-malaria ones.
If you have any questions for Her Excellency Sophie and Ave, you can send us a WhatsApp on 055-1111-997, okay? If you're watching on Facebook as well, you can put it in the comment section and we'll read it. So before taking up the job and before coming to Ghana, is this what you imagined it to be?
I try never to have any prejudice about anything wherever I'm going. So the only way to address a new job, a new position, even when you're moving house, a new place, whatever, is to really come with a very open mind.
Yeah.
And I didn't expect anything. I was just looking at. I knew a bit West Africa
Mm-hmm.
because in the defense ministry where I was working before, I had been to Mali, I had been to Niger, to Chad, to Cote d'Ivoire, and but of course with the military side, I used to go there with a full metal jacket and a helmet, so it doesn't make it as pleasant. But I did have some encounters with the local population. And they speak French, so
Yeah.
I would have thought it's even easier. But Ghana is different. Ghana is different. The people are different. It's different. It's difficult to explain. And I've welcomed many guests from France who came to visit. And sadly, because of COVID, there were many of those visits that have been cancelled or postponed. But in end of 2018 and all 2019, I've had many guests coming,
Mm-hmm.
and they all have that feel, and it's indescribable. It's they are impressed, and there's that feel that we want to come back,
Yeah.
and you feel good. Yeah, Ghana is a place where you feel good.
Did you have a choice regards to the country to be posted to?
Not at all. It's I'm not a career diplomat, so. I didn't do my entire career in diplomacy,
Yes.
where I would have dreamt of becoming an ambassador, and therefore I would have done my pick and mix and said, I would like this one or this one.
Yeah.
No, I was offered the position just 3 months before arriving. I think that they were looking at a very specific profile to be here, someone who, of course, was Anglophone and who would. Who was interested in economic diplomacy, because
Okay.
there were the big challenge was to attract some French companies and
Mhm.
to enable them to have a business environment that would enable them to create jobs and invest and do all that successfully.
So you were sort of handpicked.
Sort of, yes. Headhunted.
Headhunted. Okay.
Probably.
Yeah. And what made you accept it?
I think it took me 5 minutes to think of it.
It did.
Well, it took me the time for the coin to sink in because it was so unexpected that I think I was having lunch with the ministry, so the special advisor to the minister, and he waited all after dessert and just during coffee to bring the news that, oh, we've thought of offering you a posting as an ambassador. And I literally spit my coffee and I was like, you got to be kidding. I mean, seriously? And I think I asked him like 10 times, you can't be serious. Are you serious? And I said, but can I think of it? And he said, yes, of course. Today's Friday. You call me on Monday. That's fine. So I literally had the weekend. And I called my dad and I said, and I was sort of wumbling. I like I had been hit on the head.
Yes.
And I said, here's what happens. And he said, very quietly, very calmly, said, okay, let me call you back. And I'm like, okay, that's weird. And he calls me back like an hour later. I said, okay, it's a very peaceful country, democratic. You should watch this video. You should watch this and this and that. And if I were you, I would go.
Wow.
Okay. So then it was about asking my children if they were okay.
Yeah.
And I was hoping some sort of, oh, we'll miss you. Are you sure? And everything. And all of them, it was, oh, wonderful, go.
Oh, dear. I'm sure at that point you thought they wanted to get rid of you.
Yeah. And I also consulted some people who were heads of companies who have subsidiaries in Ghana, and so they had like a business insight. So, and all of them were saying, you've got to go, it's fantastic. But my first intuition was I wanted to go, but then I needed to rationalize that and to make sure that no one was against that principle, and that my children would not call me every second day saying, oh, you're gone, you're not there, and reproach me with not being at home.
Yeah.
And I think I didn't even wait until the Monday. I think I texted him Saturday evening and I said, I made my decision, I'm going.
Wow. Was that in sync with your persona? Like somebody who wanted to explore, see new things?
Oh, yes. Yeah. It was a new challenge. It was exciting. There was something of unknown, you know. Yeah. And that's also how I manage my staff. I tell them walking is actually being in unbalanced forward. You have to unbalance yourself to move forward. So you have to be pushed outside your comfort zone, because if you try and stand really straight, you don't move.
Yes.
You do not move forward or backwards. And actually, if you don't go forward, you go backwards. So I've always very excitedly gone for new challenges. And if there was like 20 or 30% of complete unknown, I would say let's try.
Yeah. No, I mean there's a great lesson in there.
Well, I don't know. It worked for me. It doesn't mean it will work for other people. I think we've got to find ways and means to run our careers according to our own expectations, personalities. Some people are much more comfortable in really nicely bordered path, and if that's where they are the most efficient, that's what they should look for. So I think we just need to know what we are good at, what makes us comfortable, what makes us excited.
Yeah.
I think that you only do well things that you are excited to do, that you like doing. So, knowing yourselves, your weaknesses as well. And
but you got in here eventually, and what was the first thing you noticed?
I think that the kindness of the people when I arrived was just extraordinary, and they were all trying a few words of French on me.
Right.
I thought that was so sweet. I think that, yes, the kindness of people. I remember arriving, landing with my son, who had come to help me unpack and sort everything. And in the evening, after we found ourselves just together in the apartment, he said, it's incredible, people are so nice here. And I think that's the first thing that strikes you.
What was the first thing that surprised you, the shocker?
I don't know really. Maybe the Ghana time is somehow surprising, because in France, when you have an appointment at a very specific time, you arrive like 10, 20 minutes before. And if you arrive late, the person who is expecting you might be offended because it's lack of respect. So if you take it that way, you're going to be offended by many, many people. So actually, if you understand that it's just a very relaxed and laid back way of doing things, it's not about disrespect. It's just that, when you say you've got an appointment at 6, that's when you actually leave home.
Yeah.
You just understand that's the way it is.
Yeah.
And what would be disrespectful would be not to wait for them. So yeah, once you get past that stage, you just
You're used
get
to it
used
now.
to it, and then you come late as well. So
Oh, you,
just
you started already?
Oh, now I know that when there is a concert or a party or an event, if the invitation says 6 p.m., if you turn up at 6 p.m., you're in the way of people still setting up. So you have to wait until it's like 8, and if you turn up at 8, even 9, you're still the first in, which is nice because you get to choose where to sit. And most people will usually turn up around 10, 11. And because I'm working office hours, so I usually have to go around 12, and that's when the party's only starting.
No, man.
But
not
yeah,
good.
so now I know I don't turn up at 6 because I'm obviously embarrassing people arriving on time.
No, not good. Not good.
That's
Totally
what's
not good.
surprising. Yeah, that's
Anyway.
what's surprising.
Now, we'll talk a bit more about work, but
Yes, please.
I learned your father was the director of a record company.
Yeah, he's retired now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, how was growing up like then?
Well, I didn't see much of him because he was working like a director general. So, and I think my children have had the exact same experience, not seeing me at all.
Oh, dear.
No, what I took away from that was, yes, working hard and seeing him really happy of his work was a lesson, and taught me whatever you do, you've got to do something that you are happy about, that makes you happy.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the music industry, I think we would have thought that I would have gotten for free all the records I wanted. And the truth is, not at all. When I asked him, could you bring me this record, please, even if one that was actually in his record company, he would tell me, no, you go and buy it.
Oh, dear.
So even concerts that were organized, if I say, could you get me a free ticket, and he would say, no, go and buy it. So that really gave me the conscious of what the value of music, and the fact that music is actually a business and nothing is for free.
Yeah, yeah.
And nothing should be for free.
But the part about him not being available most of the time, how did that affect your upbringing?
Not much. My mum was very, very available, and she was literally sitting on us and checking our homework, and she was very strict. But my dad was there every weekend, so I had very much quality time with him, and we were actually, my parents had me at a very early age, so the age difference is such that we are more friends than parents. Well,
Than
my
parents
mum
and
tried to
children.
behave like a bossy mum until I was able to say no. But the relationship I have
Yeah.
with them is really friendly.
Yeah.
We're more friends than parents, really.
But the fact that you were very close to the record company and all that, it didn't influence your choice of career, when you were growing
Actually,
up?
on the contrary, the last thing my dad wanted me to do was to go in that business, in that industry.
Really? Did
And
you ask why?
because he thought that it was a very unstable environment, and that people had weird lives, smoked weed,
Oh, yeah?
slept very late, and were not stable in their relationships. And I didn't know if that was true, but I took his word for it. And also, if I had wanted to do a career in this business as an artist, because I loved being on stage. I thought it was fun. I
Okay.
did that at school, and I thought it was really fun. And being in a different, I loved acting because I thought you can be someone else for a moment. It's just really fun. And I think they just didn't want me to be diverted from schoolwork. That
Okay.
was the absolute priority.
Yeah.
And to give you a scoop, I actually recorded a record when I was 5.
You did.
Yes, because they
Wow.
were looking for a little boy actually to say to tell a story on a record, and
Yeah.
and that story was linking different songs, and the whole record was about gathering all the songs from a full collection of stories and songs for children.
Yeah.
So they wanted to do one big record that would, gather all the songs, but then because all the songs were about a different fairy tale or a different story, they needed someone to sort of tell a story that you're meeting this character, and then it happens this, and you're wandering, and then whichever hero of the story I was telling was suddenly meeting another one. So it was a way of introducing the whole collection. And they were looking for a little boy, and they had auditioned many little boys. They wanted a 7-year-old so he could read the text and say it. And the one who was auditioning and who was the head of that collection was in my dad's office, and it was the evening, and we only had one car for the whole family. So my mum had driven to my dad's office, and she was waiting down in the car park, and she sent me in my pajamas. I was like 4.5 or 5, and said, go and get your dad. So I stormed into my dad's office, and I said, Mummy's waiting for you, whatever. I don't know what I was said, actually. I just stormed in. And I had a very short hair because my mum thought it was much easier.
Yeah.
And then this casting man said, "Oh, this is the little boy I've been looking for." And I was like, "I'm not a boy.
I'm a girl.
I'm a girl." He said, "Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter." And he told my dad that's him. And I said, "I'm still her, right?" And my dad sort of was not really keen on that, because he thought, it's going to be a few long hours recording and everything.
Yeah.
So okay, let her do a test. And so I did the test, and I did the whole recording. But I think I was 4.5, and it was an absolute hell, because it was very, very hot. It was in August. I have a very, very clear memory. All I was longing for was an ice cream. And I was in a studio where artists would come and record, and there were drums and all sorts of instruments. And I wanted to go and play with all that. And I had to sit there in front of the mic, looking at the mic, and look at it like it's an ice cream. Precisely, that's what I would like. And for 7 or 8 hours, it was so hot. It was like a heat wave, and it was in an underground, and we only had those windows, and we could only see the feet of the people walking on the pavement. So I have a terrible, terrible memory. And then the record came out, and we moved to Belgium, so I didn't have time to enjoy the fame.
Oh dear. You enjoyed much later in Ghana.
Yes, exactly.
Yes,
like
yes,
50 years later, yes.
Good stuff. Well, let your messages come in on 055-1111-997. And we're live on Facebook as well. We'll take a very short break, and when we're back, we continue the conversation. I'm spending time with Her Excellency Sofiane Ave, who's the Ambassador of France to Ghana.
If confidence is what you yearn for, then feel the freshness with Close Up Complete Fresh Protection.
Smile all the way, because Close Up Complete Fresh Protection has fluoride mixed with eucalyptus mint that prevents cavities.
For your best oral care needs, use Close Up Complete Fresh Protection that deeply cleans even the stubbornest plague, fighting against germ and leaving your mouth with fresh breath. So tell a friend to tell another friend that
Close Up Complete Fresh Protection is in town.
Grab yours now and keep brushing.
And keep those smiles alive, because Close Up Complete Fresh Protection is what you need.
Close Up Complete Fresh Protection is your effective toothpaste.
This advert is FDA approved.
Super Hits Radio. Joy 99.7.
If confidence is what you yearn for, then feel the freshness with Close-Up Complete Fresh Protection.
Smile all the way because Close-Up Complete Fresh Protection has fluoride mixed with eucalyptus mint that prevents cavities.
For your best oral care needs, use Close-Up Complete Fresh Protection that deeply cleans even the stubbornest plague, fighting against germ and leaving your mouth with fresh breath. So tell a friend to tell another friend that
Close-Up Complete Fresh Protection is in town.
grab yours now and keep brushing.
And keep those smiles alive because Close-Up Complete Fresh Protection is what you need.
Close-Up Complete Fresh Protection is your effective toothpaste.
This advert is FDA approved.
Catching the call.
All right, you're welcome back. This is Joy 99.7 FM. You're live on Personality Profile. And this evening, I'm spending time with Ambassador of France to Ghana, Her Excellency and Sophie Ave. And she's got an amazing story. I see all your messages. I'll be reading them very shortly. But you've worked, let's talk about work now, because you've worked in the Ministry of Defense, Ministry of Transport, and you didn't think that diplomacy was going to come in at any point. So take us through your journey in your career.
Well, it's been about opportunities. When I was working in the private sector, and then in France, when you want to become a civil servant, you have to go through a school that used to be called the École Nationale d'Administration. That is a competition exam, and they take like 100 people every year. And I was very lucky to get in. So, age 33, I went to this school and changed in a change of career. And depending
Why
on,
did you want to change the career?
because I had been elected in the local government in France, and I thought it was very interesting to see how politics was working, but it was about implementing policies, and I was wondering who is writing those policies. And then people told me, it's up there in Paris. I was living in Bordeaux at that time. Say, well, up in Paris, there are, high-ranking civil servants. They advise ministers and they write the things, but it's nothing for us. I said, no, that's what I want to do.
But what did you study for your undergrad?
I started with an MBA, so really more business administration.
Yeah.
And then I worked 15 years and then went back to school to do public administration.
Wow.
And I felt I wanted to do something meaningful, something that was more important than, selling your goods or softwares. And then I chose the Ministry of Transport because it was a very technical ministry. And I thought that surrounded by engineers, someone who was more into public administration, I might get all the dossiers that the others wouldn't want, financial, legal, and that engineers were not very keen on. And that's what happened, actually.
Yeah.
And then I was headhunted by the French Ship Owners Association, and they asked me to become their Director General. And I stayed there for 5 years, and I did a lot of negotiation there, and I was noticed for, also a bit of communication and negotiation. And so then I was again approached and sort of, headhunted by the Ministry of Defense to be a social advisor to the minister at a time when we had to reform completely the ministry. It was 300,000 people, and it's not very difficult, very easy to move such a big bunch of people, especially militaries. They're not that easy to reform. And at that time we had the terrorist attacks in Paris in 2012. And there was an issue about handling the families of the victims, those who died and one of them who had been severely injured. And we owed something to these families. And because it was during the presidential campaign that these terrorist attacks happened, everything had been promised to them and nothing had been done. And in some cases it was too late because the text, the regulation said it has whatever medal or recognition had to be done 1 month after the death, and we were already a few months after. So they called me and they said, we've got this big issue of reforming the ministry as well as handling the aftermath of terrorist attacks, and we've got this problem because the regulation do not allow this and that. And I just said, but how about we change the regulation? And they said, okay, you're hired. So that's how I got into the Ministry of Defense, and I stayed as a human resources director to carry on implementing the reform. And then, yeah, I spit my coffee when I was asked to be an
Come to
ambassador.
Ghana, and then you came.
And I came here.
Wow. Was there a plan to do things differently from what would be what you would call diplomatic acceptance, or what is accepted diplomatically? Was there a plan of
There was
some of
not
the sort?
a plan. I just didn't know what a normal traditional diplomat is. I was not a diplomat. I had never been in an embassy before. My only diplomatic experience was in the Foreign Office as an intern, where I was posted for 6 months, and then in international organizations, where multilateral negotiations. So I never had the example or the role model of an ambassador that I could have looked up to and said, oh, that's what I need to be. You know, that's the
Yeah.
kind of suit I need to fit in. So I had no idea what a normal diplomat had to be, but I knew what my assignment was, and that was about creating links between France and Ghana, making our culture known, and that was enough of an objective.
Yeah.
I didn't want to, and so I couldn't at the same time look at the objective and how can I achieve that, and at the same time do some benchmark of all others other ambassadors know what is the right protocol or way to do it. So I just looked at the objective and thought the best way to promote the country and the culture, the French culture, is to do it probably through a TV show that would be a conversation with a Ghanaian who would tell me his vision of France, because that is what is meaningful to the people who are watching, not
Yeah.
what I'm saying, but what his vision is. And it was just a winning bet. And working with Bolloré on that, and listening to his experience of the media, his experience of the audience, and his guidance was certainly a great part of why we got 2 awards and why the show was appreciated.
Yes.
I really followed his guidance. Then he just, threw me in the lake and told me to swim, and said, you're going to host it and you're going to do. But I'm glad that he pushed me outside my comfort zone.
Yeah.
Because he was right. It was my job to present the show and to sort of, broadcast France and,
Yeah.
and show the kind of conversation and relations that we had with Ghana by
Absolutely.
the example and not only by saying it. So no, there was no plan at all. There was
Yeah.
no plan at all. Then it was just opportunities. You see, when
Yes.
French singers said we would like to come and do music videos here, I said, why don't you do featurings? And that's how the whole Paris and Accra and Paris happened. And I could tell them, why don't you do featurings? Because most of those Ghanaian artists I had already met.
Yes.
So it was easy to place a phone call and say, how would you like to do a featuring with a French artist? And they all
Yeah.
said yes. So at that time, I only knew a handful of them. If it was now, it would be much more complicated, because I probably have a list of 50 that I like.
I know.
But so you see, things happen
Yeah.
because you meet the right people at the right time who
Yeah.
want the same thing as what you want to achieve. So I had absolutely no plan, not at all.
So the touch of France, I got to be honest with you, did the magic. And of course, let me say kudos to Bolloré as well for making sure that happened. And of course, Paris in Accra and Accra in Paris.
That was great.
Amazing events as
Yeah.
well. Now, collectively, what did these events and TV show do for the relationship between the two countries?
Oh, I think that I hope that the image of France, and from the DMs I receive and the comments I receive, I think the image of France has, if not changed, at least improved. From some people who didn't have an image at all, some whose approach to France was only through the French teachers they had at school and not always the best experience, and some who had, hearsay from Francophone countries and didn't really have a positive image. And I think that has really, really improved.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's probably the biggest impact. And I think also that the Accra in Paris, probably even more than Paris and Accra, bizarrely, the impact here in Ghana, that they felt recognized,
Yes.
loved by France,
Yeah.
that their artists, the artists they worship, were staged and presented in France and had such a huge success. It was a huge pride for Ghanaians.
Yeah.
And so the next big pride, I hope, is Ghana winning the World Cup.
Yeah.
And that would be also something, having the Black Stars going to Qatar and win that World Cup. So I told many of the players that no pressure, but you need to win.
You'd rather Ghana win than France?
Well, France has won twice
Okay.
already. We won in 1998 and 2018, and we've of course my dream is a final between France and Ghana.
Are you
because
serious? And who are you going to support?
both?
No, you can't. You have to choose a side.
Oh, I'd be happy in both cases, but I think probably I would be even happier if Ghana wins, because it would be the very first time.
Yes.
And they definitely deserve it.
Absolutely. Anyway, apart from the creative arts industry, which other areas have seen greater collaboration between the two countries since you came to Ghana?
I would say heritage. We never really did anything in the area of heritage before. Many of my colleagues, actually from other countries, had done some refurbishment of forts and castles, and we didn't. And I thought that is an area of, again, Ghanaian pride.
Yeah.
Knowing their history, knowing our history, the history of humanity, and being proud of the sites that you have and knowing them, because many people didn't even know some of those sites that we've been refurbishing or enhancing, or better staging, creating museums, and I think it was an amazing opportunity for us to learn about the history of Africa. You mentioned the Bego honey,
Yeah.
where I was installed a development queen mother and Koso Hema. Yes. This place is, you see Kumasi, Sunyani, and
Yeah.
if you carry on that road, Berekum,
Yes.
and in that area, this village called Bego, and hardly any Ghanaians said, "Oh yes, I see where it is." It is really very unknown. But this was a place that was a huge market as early as the Middle Age, where everyone from Africa used to congregate to do trade, and you can find some potteries and remains of potteries that from the pots that people were carrying the spices and goods and whatever they wanted to trade. You have remains there, and you can tell that Ghana, or this part of Ghana, was the center of trade of Africa at as early as the Middle Age. And then this village was completely abandoned. They all left, and when they came back, they had to rebuild. But then, of course, the activity and the center of attention had shifted to Kumasi. But knowing about that was just so educative for us to know. Yeah, it helped us knowing more about the history of Africa, and we were so grateful we were able to do that. And we did some refurbishment as well of Ashanti buildings, and so heritage is an area of cooperation that we really enjoyed.
You have very deep knowledge on economic transformation. You've observed the development journey of Ghana, at least in the past 4 years since you've been here. Do you think Ghana is on the right path?
I think yes, you are certainly, compared to your in the region, you are certainly on the right path. You see, any development and sort of trend never goes really like smoothly all the way up. There are hiccups sometimes, because sometimes you have to walk a bit back to move forward. COVID has been terrible for many countries, and even if Ghana has done better in terms of resilience and handling the whole pandemic, it's been a shock that no one saw coming, and no one was really prepared. So yes, I think overall, if you look at the past 10, 15 years, and probably since 2000, so I would say in the past 20 years, Ghana is definitely on the right path. Even if you think it's not going fast enough, the growth rate of Ghana, we would all dream of half of it. I mean, in Europe, any European country would dream of half of that growth rate. So things take time, you see, and the reforms or whatever is structural is always much longer. It's like when you've got some surgery, you after the surgery you feel worse before you feel better.
Yeah.
So it is definitely on the right path. But what you have as assets is the youth, the people, the willingness of moving forward, the dynamism, the talent, the brains, the great universities.
Yeah.
And the French universities come regularly to partner with Ghanaian universities, and they all say that Ghanaian students are above the level of the sub-region. So they are good students, and
Yeah.
even though they don't speak French in the first place, they adapt very, very quickly. So I think you have all the ingredients
Yes.
to succeed and fast.
Okay. You're going to be one of us for a long time to come.
Yes, hopefully.
I don't think Ghana would want to see you go, but you will.
Nor do
definitely
I. I don't want to go. I don't want
Yes.
to go. But I have to.
But what has your stay here in Ghana taught you? If there's one big lesson that your stay in Ghana here has taught you, what would it be?
Patience?
Patience. Oh dear. Oh no, not the event story again.
Yeah. I've learned that soon and shortly have a very different meaning here in Ghana.
Yeah.
And on my way, please also is doesn't mean that you're actually on your way. It means that you mean to go on to be on your
It
way.
means you're on the way
Yeah,
to the
and-
shower.
on the way to a shower, which soon and shortly are probably the words. I've learned the new meaning of those two words.
Yeah.
It has changed a lot of things in my way of seeing things. Yeah, patience definitely. Also because whatever project I wanted to push forward takes
Yeah,
time, and
yeah.
it's not to blame to the Ghana time. It's also to blame on our bureaucracy. So and probably humility.
Good.
Probably humility.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you be coming back to Ghana?
Of course. You're gonna. You think you're rid of me? No. Of course, I will be coming back. I've already made a date of coming back in December.
Are you serious?
Where else in the world do you want to be than in Ghana?
Yep.
So that is the place to be.
December in Ghana, definitely. Lexis, Sophie, great interview so far. Tell me to come. Tell us to come to Ghana anytime.
Thank you.
Again, once you leave Ghana, you can leave. Do you mean once you live in Ghana, you can live anywhere on the globe? I think that's what you mean. Ghanaians are very welcoming anywhere
True.
they are, from Albusha in Toronto, Canada. Okay, thank you so much. Great conversation, enjoying it to bits. Such a great woman she is. Her hard-working attitude, always seen her rise through the ranks with offers or headhunted. Hard work pays. Félicitations, madame.
Yeah, good
From
French. Thank you. Merci.
Me, 4G in Tema West. All right, Nee, thank you so much. Good evening, Lexis. I'm very happy for the ambassador to be able to adopt to the GMT. The GMT way of management. It's not good, though. It took us some time to adapt to Finnish interpretation of time and appointments when we went to Finland. It was like a cultural shock.
Of course, yes.
May
Especially in the
you-
north, yes.
Yeah, may you ask how long it took her to accept the reality of the Ghanaian mentality about time? Has she gotten any favorite Ghanaian dish? I request she advise our populace about the dangers and how difficult it is to stay in developed country without proper documentation. And that's from Yao Eje in Dublin.
And
All right.
thank you for
Yeah,
that
thank you.
testimony. It's very important.
Yeah. Any Ghanaian food favorite?
I love palava sauce with
Ah,
plantain.
okay.
I love kiliwili.
Oh, dear.
I like kwache, but not too much Cheeto, because your Cheeto is really, really hot. and
Yes,
it's
very
not your-
spicy.
yeah, it's too spicy for me.
Yeah.
What else do I like? I like red.
Okay. You like everything, girl.
Well, I'm not so keen on fufu, I must say. I still haven't come around how you can actually chew it without chewing it. So,
You're not supposed to chew it.
yeah, well, that's where you lose. Yeah, that's where you lose me. So no, I'm. You see,
Okay.
I know I should probably
Yeah.
get used to fufu and banku and even kenkei, but I've tried. I've
Okay.
tried, and I still don't understand why you call light soup light. It has nothing light. It's not light. I mean, I know what light is, and this is not light. It's spicy, it's hot, and it's full of meat and things. There's nothing light.
I don't know who's been cooking it for you, but yeah, that's light
My
soup.
chef, she is, yeah, well, you could call it light soup. It doesn't make it light. It's like French fries. You can call them French fries. Doesn't make them French. So, no, I've got lots of things in my light
Yeah,
soup.
yeah.
Lots of things. I really love that, but it's,
Okay. So I really wasn't going to talk about this, but one of the things that I wanted to find out, why are you looking at me like that? I mean, I saw that look. Oh, should I stop right there? Or
I
should
don't know,
go
I don't
ahead?
know, I don't know, I don't know
I
what
should,
you want
I
to
should
say.
go ahead. So when I read that you said that if you met a Ghanaian
Oh my God.
man who's your dream man, you will marry them. And then I thought, you've been here 4 years and you met a lot of amazing Ghanaian men.
Yes.
None of them is your dream man? Like you didn't find a dream man?
Can we erase that question? I have made a rule of keeping my private life private.
Yeah.
For many reasons, it's very, very difficult to be a prince consort when you live with someone who has this kind of exposure, and also in France we have this rule of not displaying or exposing our families.
Yeah.
So I'm really keeping my life very, very private. So
Yeah.
I answered a question by Abeiku Santana, and
Yeah.
I answered that because it was a bit provocative. He said, "Oh, you wouldn't marry a Ghanaian, would you?" And I said, "Well, why wouldn't I? I mean,
Yeah.
why wouldn't I?" But as for the so that's just the theory, right?
I
It's
understand.
just in principle.
I understand.
But in reality, whoever is my partner, I never ever mention, and I never
Yeah.
expose.
Good stuff. Anyway, I mean, I've enjoyed your company, no
Thank
doubt
you.
about it. We've enjoyed
Thank you very much.
interacting with you, and we say thank you for all the light you've shown on Ghana
Thank
as
you.
well, and bringing France and Ghana together a lot closer. You're really adored, and we'll see you in Ghana again, definitely.
Of course.
Yes,
of
yes.
course. Certainly,
Any final
Jen.
words before we wrap up?
Well, I want to thank Ghanaians, because it's all on them, really. The love I'm getting tells more about their ability to love and their incredible gift of making people feel special. That
Yeah.
is something very rare. And I want to thank all of your listeners who very kindly listen to us, and those who sent very nice messages for their support. It means a lot, because yes, it's not an easy job, and none
Yeah.
of us do an easy
Yeah.
job. But when you get up in the morning and you know that you're doing things and that people are appreciated, then it makes a lot of sense.
Her Excellency Anne-Sophie Ave, merci beaucoup.
Merci infiniment, mesdames, c'est pas.
Ah, there you go. I'm Lexis Bill. Thank you so much for spending time with us. Maxwell